What's up, gamers? Welcome to Articulate, the podcast where I'm anything but. So, this is kind of part of a two-parter, but hopefully, this one doesn't really have anything to do with the first part. But I'll link it in the top comment, I suppose, if you would like to go watch that. Um, see what I yapped about a couple hours ago. Because I was going to film them back to back, but then I ate dinner, and then I'm like, holy shit, that was crazy. Now I'm super full, and I'm like, ow. Um, Not ow, but I'm just like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna just stand here. Maybe I'll point it this way, because I pointed the camera the other way for the other one, because, I don't know. But I've written most of this out, so let me just stand here and sort of read this sort of script thing I got here. Even though that's a little bit weird and strange, but yes. Recently, I've come to this pretty massive realization. So let's freaking yap about it for maybe 15 minutes. I guess 14 at this point because we're a minute and a half in. So let me be a narcissist for a minute and tell you that I have the capacity to make great things. So the minutia of being a content creator doesn't really feel like work, and I get into my head and do this weird like reverse psychology type thing that just results in me doing nothing at all, which is super annoying. And I don't keep up with my weekly podcast. I don't ship posts on Instagram. I don't even do the higher effort like lore or video essays that I wrote over a year ago, which is pretty freaking crazy, you know? They're all really cool and interesting, and I would like to do them. Did I just show my hand in the frame? I don't really care if I did, honestly. But yes, whereas people who don't know how to do more difficult stuff, they just do what they know, which is something that I did very recently at the end of the New Year's video I recently uploaded. I had planned for some more complicated shots and cool B-roll and good sound design for the little lore bit at the end. But then I randomly thought of a fun little concept that I made in like 30 seconds in Photopea, which is not an over-exaggeration. Like, I switched the brush tool, changed the brush type thing, I don't know, and then like painted a squiggly line. It was really easy. Um, but yeah, the biggest thing with doing that is that it worked. And low key, I couldn't help but smile simply because I had made something. And it was really cool. I'm actually pretty proud of what I had made at the end there. I wasn't really expecting that. And I can't stress how simple it really was, which is something that I need to keep doing, especially for these super early days of lore. Like, I need to not be like, oh, what if I had this shot that's impossible to shoot in my room? Like, look at this. It's a pretty big room. It's a pretty nice room. I'm gonna move this bed over there actually, so but there isn't much room here. This is the widest shot here. If I go over here, look over there. That's the widest shot I can get. And did I just show my finger in the frame again? I don't know. What am I saying? Yeah, it's a nice room, but I'm always planning these impossible shots. I'm like, oh, what if I do this VFX? I don't know what to do. I'll figure it out later. Um, but yeah, the lore thing, it had decent sound design and voice acting, and the visual was super simple. while also using a little cool motif for the character on accident. Because I was kind of going for something else with the visual, but then um, I was like, oh hey, this fits super well here with the character. And I just sort of fell into this happy little accident of having that cool little visual with the simple, just like a little bit of voice acting, a little bit of sound design. Um, and then I made a funny little text thing. A tweet, if you will, except it wasn't on Twitter because I deleted my account from that app because I'm like, this place sucks. And that was a long time ago, but now there's very problematic stuff happening on that app currently. Yeah, what am I saying? I don't know. I said I was going to talk about the script and then I kind of skipped around and did weird stuff, but that's perfectly freaking fine. Anyway, yeah, I was talking about the freaking. I don't think I was talking about insta girlies. Hang on. No, I kind of was. Yeah, people who don't know how to do more difficult stuff, aka an insta girly, because um I spend an unfortunate amount of time on Instagram and I've almost followed every single hot feminine presenting person on that app. It's kind of insane. So that's kind of a little bit what inspired this little topic here. Um yeah, Insta girlies are people that just do what they know and they do things so insanely consistently. What? So consistently. It's crazy. Like they set up a camera and they just yap or they take pictures and they upload stuff to Instagram, which isn't to say that they're lazy or incompetent or whatever. It's actually the exact opposite because I'm so insanely envious of them because they're like 10 times more productive and hardworking than me. And not to mention, a lot of the time, they do a bunch of other stuff on usually like every other platform. It's kind of insane what the quote unquote Insta girlies are doing. Um, and I can't even bring myself to be an Insta girly. It's kind of insane. Like I do post on Instagram a little bit. I said this in the first part of this that this isn't part one and part two type shit. So I've said this in a previous episode of the podcast and other places on the internet. Um what have I said? I said I upload to Instagram semi consistently. We got like 51 posts on there right now, I think. And they're pretty funny a lot of the time. Maybe not a lot of the time. Sometimes I'm just posting shit for funsies, or not for funsies, but for the sake of posting stuff. And so an unfortunate amount of my posts are just me taking a picture of my laptop screen like an old person. Um, being like, hey, I uploaded a new video, or look at this funny thing, or whatever. Just whatever sort of comes to my mind when I'm editing or working on stuff or whatever. But yeah, I can't bring myself to be an Insta girly. I can't bring myself to be a YouTuber. Can't bring myself to be a Twitch streamer. And there are many people who are a lot of these things all at once, which is really freaking crazy. And I fully run out of notes here, so I'm kind of thinking of what I want to say here. So, hang on. Yeah, the fact that me being a narcissist, I like quote unquote have the capacity to make great things. Like, I have such good, crazy ideas, and I sort of have the skill to make them. I just don't have the like resolve or the drive or the motivation to be putting in the work to do all these different things. And I think slowly over time that is changing maybe. I'm sort of I'm getting it through my thick ass skull that life is about momentum. Um, baby steps, all these lame things that are easy to know about and easy to like sort of quote unquote believe in. It's not even um like it's easy to say you know these things, but it's significantly harder to actually remind yourself when the time comes, like when you need it, and to apply these things to your life, like something. Um, I don't know, but I've been trying to do that. I have been working out pretty consistently. My legs and my butt kind of are sore, and my core, dude, your abs being sore is actually the worst thing because I've sneezed a few times today, and every single time I'm like, ow. And if I'm like stretching a little bit, I'm like, ow. Or if I'm like twisting or doing whatever, it's actually the worst. I kind of vehemently dislike doing core exercises, but for Christmas, hang on. For Christmas, I got this little medicine ball thing down there. So now I like have to do core exercises. You can do other exercises with those, but it's core exercises are just easier with that, I think, kind of. I don't know. That's just the first thing that comes to mind when I see one of those things. So, which is probably because of middle school PE. I remember having a big juicy medicine ball and doing sit-ups and stuff. And how come you can like actually do sit-ups and push-ups and stuff when you're in middle school PE, but when you go home you can't do a single push-up? That doesn't make any sense. Because I could do like 14 push-ups, and I was out of shape back then. Granted, I'm out of shape now. I don't know. I actually might be more out of shape. I think I really underestimate how much I was like walking in school, like between classes and just walking around doing stuff. It's kind of crazy. And then I like didn't really move for like a couple years, like kind of literally. But yeah, I've sort of lost the plot on what this was supposed to be about. Basically just depressing stuff. And I've come to the realization that I really do just need to chip away at doing stuff in 2026, because I can't sit here and loathe the fact that I can't put in the time for some big project. I have to just work on stuff and do what I know, you know? I need to channel my inner insta girly and just do what I know. You know? Like every week I'm going to be here pacing around my room, yapping, and then occasionally I'll come on. I only have 1 minute left, so I have to hurry. And then I'll come on and do an edited one, or like drawing, or some other fun thing. But I'm going to be here every single week, okay? Every single week. And also, hang on. Stupid to bring this up with so little time, but when I rewatch older stuff, I feel like I was better, I was funnier, I was awesomer, because it's sort of what's the word? It's very endearing, because I was trying really hard to do a certain joke, and it kind of fell short, but I was using all of the skills and the tools at my proposal. That's not the word I'm looking for. But this is gonna end. I need to get back to that. Just do stuff instead of worrying about things. Leave a comment, I suppose.